Hello and welcome to another video tutorial brought to you by Rysite Studios. Visit us on the web at rysite.com. There you can see more video tutorials like this one and learn about all sorts of cool stuff on how to be creative or tools to help you be a little more creative. Today we're going to learn how to make a thing I like to call a little planet. Now I've been making little planets for the last couple of years for my panoramic images using Photoshop. I use Photoshop CS3 or CS4. Both work just as well. I believe you could use the other CSs as well. The way you find out is you go to Filter in Photoshop, of course, and go underneath Distort, and if there's a thing to polar coordinates, and you're good to go. So here's a mini planet. What's a little planet? Basically, it's a panoramic image brought together from both ends. So basically, we take the two opposing sides and we bring them together, create this sphere-like object floating in space. So how do we do it? Well, let's get this one hidden. Show us our original image is right here. And you can watch the history on the right side as we go through, or refer to it later on if you need to take steps back. But what we're going to do off the bat is we need to pick an image. Now, I picked this image, and I'll give you the good reasons. For one, it's got a simple horizon. That's what you need. That's very important. Next thing, it's got a very simple foreground, the grass here. It's great because, frankly, I could clone that all day long. It's all going to look the same. And then lastly, it's got a big sky. And you want something like a floating element like sky just to give it that illusion of floating in space. Alright, so first step, what we're going to do is get our crop tool. And we need to get rid of that. So we're just going to crop it right out and chop it, bam. Double click, and there it is. It's all gone. Next, we're going to take our ruler, go to View, Rulers, and you're going to drag a guide down and check your horizon. The horizon has to be perfectly straight. And if it's not straight, but both ends, this end and this end, need to be on the same line. You can see this is a little too low. There's two methods to fixing this. The first method, and we're going to create a new document for this one because I won't be using this, is you click on this guy down here on the history. It's a new, here, let the screen pop up. It's a new document, clone. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your ruler off the tool palette right there, and you're going to follow your horizon. You're going to get it right on. Now, you may not want your guide there because it kind of locks to it. Let's do that again. Let's start there and go right like that. Next thing you want to do is you want to go to Edit, Image, Rotate Canvas, Arbitrary. Now this is going to straighten your photo out to that line. But the problem with that is that it creates this white space on the side, which is just a real pain in the butt to crop out. And we're going to be distorting this image anyway, so that's why I don't use that method, but you could use that for other things. So we're just going to close that one document. We're going to go back in here. And this is the method I use. First of all, open up your Layers palette. Now it's on background, which means that it is not necessarily a layer. So you got to double click the background, hit OK. Now it's a layer. Next, we're going to go to Edit, Transform, Warp. And the warping's cool. So watch this. We can grab this corner and really stretch it and funkify it. It's really pretty cool. But what we're going to do is that inch just a little bit up. So we're just going to give it a little pinch, and yeah, that looks pretty good. Hit Enter. And that's that. The next steps are actually very automated, and you'll find that you could use these steps. You can pretty much do this every single time. So I'm going to show you my favorite way of doing this. First of all, I'm going to go back to Edit, and I'm going to go to Transform, or excuse me, I'm going to go to Free Transform. I'm just going to cinch this up just a tiny bit, a little gap there. And I'll show you why a little later. Hit Enter. Next, I'm going to start the automated part of this. So in actions, you can either do this or not. This is optional. Create a new action. Okay. That part's optional. You don't have to do it, but this part isn't. Next, I'm going to go to image, image size. You want to make these numbers the same. The only way to do that is to turn off these constraint proportions. Now, I'm going to downsize it. I'm making it 20, 12, 12, and 12. Hit OK. Now we have a square image. Perfectly square. Everything, including that little space there. Next, we're going to flip it. Rotate canvas. I go to image, rotate canvas. 180 degrees. And there's that. And then the last step, automated step that is, I'm going to go to filter, down to distort, and you're going to go to polar coordinates right here. Click it, and hit OK. Now, reason we do that little pinch up there is so we get that little circle right in there. It looks pretty good, except for a couple little things we're going to correct right now. But let's zoom in. It's a low-res image, so it's a little funky just to move a little faster on this tutorial. But the reason I do this is because I don't like that little pinch in the middle. And this way, I actually can take my clone tool over here, clone stamp, rubber stamp, whatever you want to call it. And the way you work that is once you click that, you hold the Alt button down to sample a part, and then it finds that, and then I can just kind of fill it right in. Now, I like this method much more than the non-pinching because it really shows a little more detail. Next, since I don't really want to clone it to death, I want to use the healing brush. Now, the healing brush is great because it does two things. It clones, but it also softens the edges and it finds the background so it doesn't kind of funkify. Really, it thinks for you a little bit. It's like a clone tool that thinks. Yeah, like does a little changes. And we're trying to get this on a good angle. It's just becoming difficult. You can see that this can be a real challenge. And this isn't exactly very good results. And I didn't mean to do that, so I'm going to undo. And instead of undoing, I'm going to go to my history and I'm going to go back in time a couple spots. You can see this makes a big stinking mess. You don't do it right, and it looks real bad. And then we're gonna get rid of this guy. Now I'm gonna show you another way of getting rid of this guy, and that's with the patch tool. This one's pretty cool too. It's just like the healing brush, except it grabs a big section and just changes that big section. But you just gotta sample it on another spot. And we deselect it, and it doesn't look fantastic, and we would spend more time doing a lot of cleaning on this, but it looks pretty good. And then we're going to open it up and we'll take a look. Next, we'll do a little creative cropping. Let's grab it like that. Let's just kind of put it in the bottom, show weight. That doesn't look terrible. Looks nice. Next, I want to get rid of these. Instead of actually cloning it, I'm going to go back to that transform. I'm going to edit, transform, warp. Just going to yank that up. See how it doesn't really affect the other parts of the image. It does, but not completely. It just really affects its own. I can even unaffect it by bringing that back in. I could always tweak that out and really do some cool stuff with that. And then I hit enter, and then that's done, and that's it. Thanks again for watching another video tutorial brought to you by RyeSight Studios. You can visit us again on the web at ryesight.com. And if you want to see more examples of little planets, you can go to littleplanetphoto.com, which is a sister site of ryesight.com. And we have a lot of focus on this. We've really done some real creative stuff with this, and I think you might enjoy it. So you can go feel some inspiration over there. And I love if you sent me a sample of what you did. Thanks again for watching, and have a nice day.